fellow Toastmasters and guests. It was the early 90s, and my girlfriend talked me into signing up for the MS 150 ride. Sounded like a good idea at the time because we were regularly riding our bikes about 30. Phone call. Yes, Mr. Giles, you signed up for the MS 150. We haven't received your packet yet. I had about 3 days to get ready. I had been riding, so that wasn't a big problem, but I was still just riding about 35 miles on the weekend. What the heck, I don't have anything going on this weekend. I'll do it. Got on the phone, and it was amazing how quickly people contributed. So the next thing I knew, I was done. I was ready to show up at the bus, get on the bus. Now keep in mind, there's 7,000 riders. About half of them going over from Austin on buses. The other half are already in Houston. It's Houston to Austin. You spend one night in, oh, what's the town?
LaGrange.
LaGrange. How many people here have done that ride? Oh. There we go. So I get on the bus, and I'm sitting there reading my book, and I look up, and who walks on but my old girlfriend and her new boyfriend. I just go, oh, why am I doing this? I was back in the back of the bus, and during the ride over to Houston, I heard a lot of people talking about the camps that they had worked at for the people that have MS and different events that they had participated in. And it was really the first time I truly knew anything about it, because I was just doing that because she wanted to go. We got to Houston, check into the hotel, and they informed me that I need to be back down at 5:30 in the morning to eat breakfast and be on my bike by about 7. Once again, that nagging question, why am I doing this? Next morning, I get out there, take care of everything, get on my bike, take off with a pack of riders. We're about 5 miles into the ride, and I see an EMS vehicle up on the side of the road with its lights flashing. As I ride by, I see this guy laying on the ground with an EMS worker, and he's blue. Well, I was with a pack of a half a dozen other riders, and we all just looked at each other. He was getting the care that he needed. He had 2 ambulances there. I started checking my chest every time I hit a little hill. And this was the very first hill that we encountered. So we get to Belleville. And Belleville is the first real stop where you get off your bike and you eat some lunch. Well, I got off the bike, and every step was like carrying an extra 200 pounds. My legs were starting to feel the pain. And of course, who comes and sits down 10 feet away from me? But what's her name? And her new boyfriend. So I get on my bike and I ride to LaGrange. LaGrange is where we're going to spend the night. Well, what they don't tell you is we knew we were camping out, but we were camping out at the fairgrounds. And so we're literally sleeping in the livestock stalls. And apparently there had been some event there within the past month because it was rather unpleasant. And you're sleeping on top of sand and dirt and dried goat dung. And you're sore from a 100-mile ride that day. Next morning, get up, hop on my bike, and this is from LaGrange to what is now BAE. It used to be Tracor, where Scotty works. The ride is through Busher State Park, which, if anybody's been through it, it is hills up and down. I tied in with a pack of guys from a high school team. And I was just amazed I could keep up with them for a little while. And they started having water bottle fights. And as soon as they did that, one went down, another went down, 2 or 3 of them all went down in front of me, and I have no idea how I didn't go down, because I went down into the ditch and came back up and kept riding and looked back at 6 people laying on the ground. I slowed down a little, took it easy from that point on. Got to Tracor. Now Tracor is a big place. They brought all of our goods, our camping equipment, and all of our personal belongings that we had taken on the bus. So I finally finished the ride. Instead of 150 miles, it's actually 162 miles. And those last 12 miles seem like an eternity. I wish they would call it a 162 instead of a 150. So I walk up to this little tent, the first shade that I'd seen in about 8 hours. And right as I'm walking up, the only chair sitting in the shade, this guy plops down in it. I'm thinking, oh, I wish I was sitting in that chair. And I stood there in the shade and started a conversation with this person. And he told me he was just there to pick up his brother who was riding that day. And I'm thinking, great. I just finished 162 miles. I would love to sit down. We talked for a little while, and he talked about how the heat was bothering him. I'm thinking, he wasn't smoking, but I'm thinking, you must be a smoker. You might want to give up smoking and try this ride next year instead of complaining about the heat. I didn't say that, but I felt it. So we talked for a little while longer, and shortly thereafter, he goes, oh, I see my brother. I'll see you later. And as he walked away, he stopped, picked up a cane, and said, thanks for riding for us. And at that moment, I knew why I was doing this. Mr.